Welcome to Zoo Babies, where we check out all the weird and wonderful new arrivals in wildlife parks around the world. First up, let's wish bon voyage to these thousands of Olive Ridley Turtle babies. They've safely made their way down to the sea in India's eastern Orissa state with the help of volunteers. Officials estimate that so far about 40,000 baby turtles have crawled out of the sandy shores of Riskulia Beach, one of the world's largest nesting grounds. That number looks set to double because every year as winter rolls around, the endangered Olive Ridleys move in large groups to 3 major nesting sites along the Orissa coast before returning to the sea. Over 1 million turtles make their ritual trek to the nesting sites to dig sand pits and lay eggs in the month of February. The Olive Ridley was named after the olive colour of its heart-shaped shell and is one of the smallest of the sea turtles, with adults reaching up to 2.5 feet in length. Their diet consists of crabs, shrimp, rock lobsters and jellyfish. In some parts of the world, algae has been reported as its main food source.
This year hatchlings have emerged very successfully because the egg loss has been much less than compared to previous year, because the nesting took place 3 weeks earlier than the previous year date, and so the summer winds could not affect the beach, and we had a good success of hatching.
Hatching is the most crucial time for the tiny animals who have to battle for their survival. These turtles are like delicate little guests, and we have to catch them and leave them on the shore. The entire village and the forest department work together for this for weeks. The Olive Ridley turtle is an endangered species, and one of their most amazing features is that these tiny turtles find their way back as adults to nest on the very same beach that they were hatched. Now let's say good day to this tiny baby koala who made his public debut at the Saitama Children's Zoo in Tokyo. He's joined by another male koala cub who is hiding high up in a tree with his mother. The 2 6-month-old boys, who have not yet been formally named, just recently emerged from their mother's pouches. And animal lovers are queuing up to get their first glimpse of the 2 new babies. A koala's fur is thick, soft and fluffy to the touch, and their ears have long white hairs on the tips. Just after sunset, koalas come to life and can often be heard barking aggressively at other koalas. The babies are still adjusting to life outside the pouches and will spend up to another 6 months on their mothers' backs before being able to fend for themselves. For now, they keep going back to their beloved home pouches after enjoying a climb on their mother's back or head. The babies are smaller and cuter than I thought. Koalas sleep almost 75% of the time. I heard that a baby koala sleeps as soon as its mother sleeps. I wish mine would. A male koala's life expectancy is less than 10 years due to injuries during fights. Females generally live longer, sometimes as long as 17 years. Koalas living in an undisturbed habitat, such as this zoo, are expected to survive even longer than those living in the wild. Young male koalas are very rare in Japan, which makes these 2 babies very precious to their keepers. Very few young and energetic koalas are available in Japan, so it will be impossible for us to keep breeding them if nothing is done in the near future. I hope some young male and female koalas are sent from Australia. Koalas breed once a year. Their mating normally occurs between March and September, and the pregnancy lasts for 35 days. after which just one koala is born. After that, it crawls into its mother's pouch and attaches itself to one of her teats. It stays there drinking milk for 6 months. Eventually, young koalas begin to feed upon fresh eucalyptus leaves as they hang onto their mothers' backs. Except for an inconvenient itch, this koala is very comfortable hiding in its mother's pouch. A Russian sea otter pup made its very public and tentative debut recently at Tokyo's Sunshine International Aquarium as cameramen clicked away for a first glimpse. The baby otter is only 11 days old and is the first Russian sea otter born in captivity anywhere in Japan. Other sea otters, such as the Alaskan variety, have had better breeding success in Japanese aquariums, but not this endangered species. Despite early concerns by keepers, the pup's mother Mia has so far shown herself to be an instinctive mum, dedicating most of her time to feeding and grooming her beloved baby. We had been worried about the baby, for she didn't have any experience of child rearing. However, she turned out to be a very good mother. Hundreds of visitors gathered around the tank after a packed press session to see the pup pampered by its mother as they floated together in the basin. The sea otter is a member of the weasel family and the only one that lives almost entirely in the water. The baby is so cute. As a mother with a baby, I think mothers are the same with a human or otter. Sea otters have very fine fur and so spend much of their time preening. The mother seems to take good care of her baby. I think she loves it because it's her own. The baby has not yet been named, and no one knows whether it's a boy or girl. But the pup will remain dependent on its mother for 5 to 15 months, and Mia will spend most of her time teaching her little one to hunt, dive, and groom. It's a hot afternoon in Spain's capital, Madrid. Many people try to find refuge in their air-conditioned cars, sitting by fountains or in fan-cooled cafes, where outside thermometers reach 38 degrees. Humans need to cool on hot summer days, and so do animals. Last time on Zoo Babies, we saw various zookeepers getting together to make their animals some very special wet treats. Here in Madrid Zoo, the staff have taken extra care to ensure its many ranges of animals don't overheat. This orangutan cools down by munching on an ice cream. The orangutan is known for its intelligence, long arms, and reddish-brown hair. Their name comes from the Malay and Indonesian phrase orangutan, which means man of the forest. They're covered in hair, so you can only imagine how hot they must be. What about this small hairy monkey? He's very happy to accept his treat. Did you know that in the winter months, chimpanzees, gorillas and orangutans all catch colds? Even when it's hot, all monkeys have to keep well groomed, so they have a barber monkey who cleans out their fur. The barber monkey's reward is the tasty bugs it picks out from the other monkey's fur. But it's not bugs that the monkeys want today. It's an ice-cold reward in the shape of a bucket. These big furry bears also need cooling down. Their usual diet includes both plants and animals, and they have a great sense of smell. In winter, bears use shelters such as caves and burrows as their dens, which they occupy during the cold months for a long period of sleep called hibernation. Animals follow instinctively the same precautions doctors advise us to take, like staying out of direct sunlight during the heat of the day, avoiding exercising, and so on. If temperatures soar too much, we shower them, treat them with ice creams and ice fruits, but normally their own common sense and our care avoid major risks. This rhino is enjoying a nice cold bath. Now it's time to go to Iraq to visit two brand new tiger cubs. Hope and her playmate Riley are frolicking in their pool under the date palm trees, playing with plastic balls and splashing each other. Children watch through the cage at the Baghdad Zoo while American soldiers snap photos. The two rare Bengal tiger cubs were donated by a conservation society in North Carolina. The Bengal tiger is the largest existing member of the cat family and has already attracted lots of visitors. We received today two tiger cubs donated by a conservation society in America. These rare tiger cubs will definitely be a new addition to the zoo and will attract a large number of people and visitors who love to see these animals. The zoo now attracts 10,000 visitors every weekend. The weather has changed today, and so we've come to change the routine of our lives. We had a sense of excitement when we heard that the new animals had arrived here: tigers, lions, and pet animals. Bengal tigers are magnificent in appearance. The coat color of this wildcat is reddish-orange, with narrow black, grey or brown stripes and icy blue eyes. On average, Bengal tigers will live to around 15 years in the wild and 16 to 18 years in a zoo. This is the first time on Zoo Babies that we have seen this large bird. It's called an ostrich. These proud ostrich mothers, called Leanne and Patricia, laid a total of 36 eggs and saw 4 babies hatched out over 3 days. Ostriches typically eat plants, roots and seeds, but will also eat insects, lizards or other creatures available in their sometimes harsh habitat. Today, the zookeeper is feeding them seeds and leaves. This is the first year that the German zoo has bred ostriches. The eggs were kept heated by both the mothers and the chick's father, Gunther, for some 42 days. The contents of one ostrich egg are equivalent to 30 chicken eggs. Although they can't fly, ostriches are very fast and strong runners. They use their wings as rudders to help them change direction as they run. An ostrich's powerful long legs can cover 3 to 5 meters in a single stride. These legs can also be used as deadly weapons. In fact, an ostrich can kill a human and even a lion. Each two-toed foot has a long, sharp claw. The ostrich is the world's largest living bird. Ostrich fossils have been found in North Africa, Europe and Asia. But today the bird is native to Africa, where it's been raised commercially for more than 100 years. An ostrich can live to be 75 years old. Over in West Java, proud keepers are celebrating the rare birth of an orangutan. At this animal sanctuary in Indonesia, there's new hope for the country's rapidly declining orangutan population. This is Elmo, a 4-day-old orangutan born at the Safari Park Animal Sanctuary in West Java, and he needs full-time care. He feeds every 3 hours after being rejected by his natural mother. Up until now, his keeper and 24-hour nursemaid Sri Suwani says he's been doing well on his baby's bottle. But experts at the Centre for Orangutan Protection say that sadly, Elmo will be in danger again if he's ever returned to any of Indonesia's dwindling rainforests. This is because land is being cleared for palm oil plantations. And there's also the factor of illegal logging, which is threatening his wild brothers and sisters. Indonesia's tropical rainforests are disappearing 30% faster than was previously estimated, as land clearance for palm oil threatens the long-term survival of the orangutan.
Yeah.
We decided to take care of her after we saw that the mother didn't want to care for her baby, like cleaning it and feeding it. The ape breeds only once every 7 years, making population recovery slow. Visitors to Vienna's Schönbrunn Zoo got their first glimpse of panda cub Fu Long. The name means lucky dragon in Mandarin. Pandas are an endangered animal because people are cutting down the bamboo that they eat to make farms. This 5-month-old panda cub is struggling to stand. Its mother Yang Yang sits inside the enclosure peacefully and then decides to join Fu Long, who wants to play. Yang Yang will take care of the baby panda for 6 months, and then it will look after itself with help from the zookeepers. But the keepers will not be able to tell if Fu Long is a boy or a girl for up to 4 years. Mother pandas only have 1 baby every 2 years. You can tell a panda by the black on their eyes and their big round white bodies. They live in China on the mountainsides in the wild. If all the bamboo is covered in snow, the pandas will resort to eating little mice or uncovered leaves until they can get back to their beloved bamboo.
At the moment he has about 7.5 kilograms and he's about 75 centimeters long, so he developed a lot.
Pandas have to eat most of the day to consume the amount of food they need to survive. Sadly, as bamboo plants get taken down by humans, the panda population gets smaller and smaller.
They like to sit next to each other, to eat next to each other, to play with each other, and they are a very special pair of pandas.
Visitors young and old were delighted to see the young panda. He's sitting in the trees and he looks a little bit helpless, but he's really lovely. Pandas date back to 2 or 3 million years ago. London Zoo often has odd exhibitions. This one features an unusual collection of animal sculptures made out of second-hand materials as part of the Sustainability Festival Love London.
Today, what we're trying to do is to highlight through sculptures that are made from recycled materials, A, that we can recycle and use a lot more than we do. All of us can recycle and create some fantastic objects through that recycling. B, the actual art is trying to show the links between nature and man, basically, and to show how what we're doing to the environment is affecting animals and eventually it will affect us.
This great white shark was created using hubcaps collected from the side of the road. Even the wire supporting them was sourced from a demolition site. Each artist has used everyday waste from car parts and plastic bags to old crockery and metal to interpret different issues surrounding conservation. Two tiny baby monkeys were rescued in the Flamengo neighborhood of Rio de Janeiro after their mother was killed when she was run over by a car. The monkeys were expelled from their mother's womb when she was hit, but they were born in good health. They were first aided by firemen at the scene and were later put into the care of the zoo's head vet, Andre Senna Meyer, who described their survival as a miracle. The baby monkeys were fed and given a doll with a hot water bottle to simulate their mother. They were then injected with the scent of their mother so that they could be accepted by their peers and return to their natural habitat. These monkeys are known as Miko monkeys. A 25-year-old orca, otherwise known as a killer whale, has recently given birth to a healthy calf. The baby whale weighs between 136 and 159 kilograms and measures between 6 and 7 feet. Her mother, Kasatka, gave birth to the calf after a 17-month pregnancy that ended with 4 hours of labor. Moments after leaving the womb, the calf instinctively swam to the water's surface to take its first breath. Meanwhile, surfers and a handful of sunbathers had to share Copacabana Beach with some unexpected visitors, as 2 whales swam happily off Brazil's Rio de Janeiro coast. A female southern right whale and her calf swam very close to the beach, drawing hordes of schoolchildren, tourists and fishermen to watch the show. Lifeguards circled the whales in boats, trying to draw them away from the beach so they didn't get stuck. The whales migrate north from Antarctica to mate from July to November, and they often end up off the coast of Brazil. Writing and performing poetry can be lots of fun, especially when you hold a poetry reading in the baboon enclosure at the zoo. Half a dozen Chilean poets, including the winner of the National Prize in Literature, decided to do just that. The baboons, along with other zoo animals, carried on with their normal routine as the poets' voices rose and fell. Zoo-goers gathered to watch the men perform the poetry in a cage in the baboons' area. Their audience seemed to enjoy the poetry. Very nice, very nice. I particularly enjoyed the Mapuche poet. It really moved me. But the baboons seemed somewhat unimpressed. Spectacular, very good. We must make poetry in nature. I liked it. I think it's a good thing that there are different things, original. But I don't know. It didn't look like the monkeys liked it much. To me, this is a gesture in the face of what's called evolution. Who are we? How are we capable of doing everything we do? If these are our origins, let us return to our origins. I'm not sure these monkeys and baboons are thinking so deeply. I think they're just hungry. Join us next time on Zoo Babies for lots more chicks, calves and cubs.